Good afternoon or morning, depending on where you are, everyone, and welcome. Today's presentation is entitled Sage Intacct Construction Dashboards and Reporting. This session is brought to you by Ledgerable, a BTerrell company, where we are in our 35th year of upgrading small and medium-sized contractors from QuickBooks or a legacy on-premise construction financial application to Sage Intacct Construction, the only construction accounting application ever named by the AICPA as their preferred provider of construction financial applications. I'm Chris Firra, a solution designer with Ledgerable, and it's my privilege and joy helping prospects and clients find software solutions to their biggest challenges.
And I'm Declan Shea, a solutions consultant with Ledgerable, working with prospective customers in their evaluation of Sage Intacct Construction software.
Before we get started with today's presentation, I need to cover a few housekeeping items. First, if you're here for CPE, today's presentation qualifies for 1 hour of CPE credit. All we ask is that you respond to the polling questions that pop up from time to time. In addition, we ask that you complete our post-webinar evaluation form. The form will be sent out the next day after the webinar finishes. So, what will these polling questions look like, and how should you respond? Well, let's warm up with an example question that will appear on your screen now. Please answer this practice question because it actually helps us know who in today's audience will be expecting CPE credit. Your goal is to answer these poll questions in 20 seconds or so, and then quickly we'll move on with the rest of our presentation. And a few more housekeeping items. We've disabled the audio for all attendees to minimize distractions, but please let us know, or please know that we are welcome to your questions and to submit a question to either Declan or myself to answer at the end of the presentation. Just click the Q&A button on the Zoom toolbar. Finally, we're recording today's presentation. We'll send you a link to that recording within 5 business days. Please use that link to review the highlights, share with colleagues, or send to peers who were unable to join us today. That wraps up our housekeeping items. Without any further delay, I'll ask Declan to help get us started with a review of our presentation objectives.
Thanks, Chris. Today we're going to show you how Sage Intacct Construction dashboards and reporting give you real-time visibility into your projects, whether you're tracking costs, revenue, or progress, so you can make confident, data-driven decisions right when you need them. We'll walk through the reporting options and dashboards built into the system and share how these can help your employees, whether they're on a job site or in the back office. The best part about these reports and dashboards are their great flexibility. When you're with Sage Intacct Construction through Ledgerable, you get unlimited custom reports and dashboards tailored to your business. We can tailor them to your specifications as your needs change. Let me lay out what you'll take away today. By the end, you'll understand the full range of reporting options in Sage Intacct Construction. You'll know the key pieces that make a great dashboard, such as performance cards, reports, charts, and how they work together to show information clearly. You'll get a clear picture of how KPIs are set up, like gross profit, cash flow, percentage complete, and more. And you'll see how having one centralized place for project data keeps everyone on the same page, cuts errors, and speeds up decisions. Let's start with a quick overview of Sage Intacct Construction itself. So Sage Intacct Construction is the only fully cloud-native end-to-end financial management solution built specifically for construction. It brings unmatched depth in construction financials through job costing, WIP, project reporting, and more. And because it's true native cloud, your teams can access the system from anywhere. No servers to worry about, and it scales as your company grows. Sage has been leading in construction tech for over 50 years, so their experience is baked into the system. In addition, Sage Intacct Construction can track your projects end to end. So what does end to end really mean? It means Sage Intacct Construction covers the full project lifecycle. That's pre-construction estimating and bidding, construction financials like job costing and billing, field operations and project management, and even HR. So labor costs flow right into your projects. Data moves seamlessly between these areas. No silos, no double entry, no reconciliation nightmares. That keeps data accurate and lets you see the full financial picture in one place. Now let's talk about the pain points we see every day with construction companies. I'm sure many of y'all have dealt with or may currently be dealing with these problems. First is financial blind spots. Job costs are hard to pin down in traditional systems, so you end up overspending or finding out too late that you're off budget. Second, workforce inefficiencies. Many teams spend far too much time rekeying data across billing, payroll, procurement, and job costing systems. Errors creep in, and it slows everybody down. Third, disconnected platforms mean reports are late or incomplete. Field teams don't have current info, and integrations can be clunky. I've often come across folks exporting data out of their legacy accounting system and creating reports on Excel because their system doesn't have the flexibility to create their type of report. Just maintaining these various Excel spreadsheets monthly takes them an incredible amount of time, which could have been spent on more productive tasks. Sage Intacct Construction is built to fix exactly these issues with one connected cloud system that gives visibility, efficiency, and room to grow. I wanted to point out that Sage Intacct is consistently recognized as a leader in project-based ERP software. It is the first and only preferred financial management solution endorsed by the AI CPA, and it continues to receive strong recognition for ease of use and customer satisfaction. This recognition is driven largely by the reporting and visibility capabilities we are about to focus on. Now, one of the biggest game changers in Sage Intacct Construction is dimensions. Traditional accounting leans hard on a bloated chart of accounts to track projects, departments, cost types, and it gets messy very quickly. Many of the legacy systems utilize this traditional accounting system. Sage Intacct Construction uses dimensions instead. You can tag every transaction with context. Standard ones like location, department, vendor, specialty ones like project, contract, warehouse, dependent ones like cost code and cost type, and you can even create your own for things like facilities or any other metric that matters to you. You can rename them to match your terminology, for example, calling the department cost center instead. Now, this keeps your chart of accounts clean and manageable while giving you incredible flexibility for job costing, reporting, and work breakdown structure. So dimensions let you build clean, flexible hierarchies for the creation of parent, child, and grandchild relationships. Please focus on the blue rectangle around the middle. This shows admin having a parent-child relationship with HR, finance, and IT. You can also add custom attributes such as revenue producer, and that's shown in the turquoise square or rectangle. You'll note that applying the attribute, sales and services are grouped under revenue generating in the revenue and support report on the bottom right. You can also create custom groups for different views. A custom group for revenue and supporting departments was created for the report as shown in the orange rectangle. All in all, these flexible hierarchies, tagging of attributes, and the ability to create custom groups means you can slice and dice data any way you want. It's far more powerful than forcing everything through the chart of accounts. Now, here's a real example. This report shows gross profit by location, expanded by department, then drilled into utility spending by vendor. From there, you can drill straight into the source transactions to see exactly how the dimensional tags flowed through. That traceability is automatic, no hunting around. And we'll show you this in the demo later. Now let's tie dimensions to the work breakdown structure, also known as WBS. WBS is a hierarchy that breaks your project into manageable pieces. It's how project managers control costs, forecast, schedule, procurement, and assess risk. In Sage Intacct Construction, you can use dimensions to build that structure. We can utilize the project dimension at the top, then cost codes and cost types underneath. You can compare estimates versus actuals at every level, track percentage complete for billing and progress reports, and use historical data to sharpen future estimates. The bottom line is that with work breakdown structure plus dimensions, Sage Intacct Construction provides clear visibility, better cost control, and fewer surprises. Sage Intacct also allows you to create sub-projects. This gives you another level of dimensionality when you need to isolate costs below the main project. Take, for example, as a contractor, my client has won the lottery and wants to expand the home build with a great high-end garage. Now I want to track that garage project and its costs separately from the house. With sub-projects, I can create a garage job that rolls up to the parent house job to analyze that work independently. In this slide's example, please look at the third line from the bottom. We have Coyote Ridge Lot 12, which is the house job. And that quote unquote cool garage I'm building is a sub-project of that Lot 12 house. This flexibility is a major competitive advantage of Sage Intacct Construction. You can structure your jobs the way you actually manage them in the field. Now it's time for a poll, and I hope you've been paying attention. What is a challenge faced by construction companies? Your options are financial blind spots, workforce inefficiencies, data integrity, or all of the above. And now to ease your nerves, you don't have to get it right, but please go ahead and answer it for the CPE credit. And once again, please fill out the evaluation form we'll send by email. I'll leave this poll up for perhaps 10 seconds to give you all time to answer. All right, folks, moving on. I'll be showing the demo shortly, and we're going to move into dimensions and how that impacts the reports and dashboards. I'll be showing that demo shortly, but I want to provide some context before diving into the details. In the demo, we'll be showcasing a variety of dashboards and reports which can be fully customized for their target audience. Now, these dashboards not only for the management team, but can help organize data for all members of your team. We'll start with a project dashboard for your operations team. Then we'll take a look at various other dashboards, such as a financial dashboard for the back office for folks like controllers. With all that context we've just covered, let's now jump into the demo. All right, everyone, let's see Sage Intacct Construction in action. First, you'll note there we have a variety of dashboards available as shown. Chris will cover some of these, but I'll start with the project performance dashboard, which is the go-to screen for most folks on the operations side. It gives you a real-time understanding on how your jobs are performing. Take a look at the layout and its various components. At the top, we've got the KPI performance cards. Then we have a revenue chart and a whole host of reports below, including one for project overview, one for project overview by project manager. We have project overview by job type, estimate spreadsheet, and costs. And these are just some of the many reports we can create. They are completely customizable. We can add, remove, or build them based on what matters most to your business. In fact, if you share a current Excel spreadsheet or report that you're using that's not integrated with your ERP system, we can replicate it in Sage Intacct Construction. Back to the KPI performance cards, common ones we see clients use include project revenue, total project cost, and project profit margin. These update in real time as transactions hit the system. Now, right across the top, you've got filters that let you slice and dice the entire dashboard instantly. You can filter by date, location, project groups, or your project managers. We can even add additional filters based on the dimensions you're utilizing. Now, let's say we want to zoom in into our hotel group. I'll go ahead and apply the hotel's location group filter here, and you'll notice the performance cards, charts, and reports refresh immediately. Revenue's trending down, and profit margin is slipping. Not great news. But now we know exactly where to dig in and take action before it gets worse. One of the best parts about Sage Intacct Construction is the drill down capability. Let's click on the monthly project profit margin KPI, and this opens up a breakdown through a P&L. We notice that the cost of sales labor has gone up, so we can drill deeper, which shows us all the labor source transactions. Now we can drill even deeper into an individual transaction to view the entries. This is where dimensions really shine. They provide full transparency and traceability. No more black box accounting. You can follow the trail all the way back to the individual entry. In addition, you can export the page to Excel for further analysis. On a quick side note on statistical accounts, they're super useful for non-financial context. For instance, we can track things like active jobs, which I'll search over here, or perhaps employee headcount. Now, these can show up right alongside financial KPIs, giving you a fuller picture of performance without cluttering your GL. Now, let's talk about customization. Because no two construction companies run the same way, dashboards are fully rearrangeable. I can move around components like so, such as the performance card, and add new ones. For example, I'll grab a balance sheet report from the library and drop it below. We'll go ahead and select the component, a condensed, balance sheet. And it only takes a few seconds. And now the report has been added to this dashboard. And it's exactly how I like my teams to see these things. Now we'll go ahead and delete that. And we're going to move on to looking at the project overview report. It's one of our favorites for a high-level snapshot. This pulls together key project info into one place, including original contract value, budget, commitments, current total billings, current total cost, and current gross profit. Notice the conditional formatting. It highlights issues automatically, and here we have it set up as red for negatives. We can create many types of rules for conditional formatting, and with it, we can spot the underperforming jobs instantly, such as Stratus Corporate Center TI and Summer Warehouse Distribution Center Building 2. And then we can pay additional attention to them. To wrap up this section of the demo, the project performance dashboard and its components showcase the core strength of Sage Intacct Construction. That is real-time KPIs for revenue, cost, and margins, filters by location, project, or manager to catch issues like declining hotel trends, drill down transparency from components straight to individual transactions, and this is all powered by dimensions, statistical accounts for non-financial context like active jobs or employee headcount, and simple drag and drop customization so your team gets exactly the view they need. This delivers the clear, actionable insight to spot problems early and manage projects more effectively. So now that we've covered the project performance dashboard, I'll hand it over to Chris to dive into additional dashboards and functionality. Chris, over to you.
Thanks, Declan. Hey, that's really interesting stuff. Well done. Um, from here, if nothing else, I would like to convey that Sage Intacct Construction dashboards are not just for top or high level management, the way that dashboards are typically viewed. All Sage Intacct Construction users can benefit by creating dashboards that help facilitate a specific purpose or goal, such as month-end close or perhaps 1099 preparation, or provide information and shortcuts to users with a specific role to keep focus with organized data so that everyone in that role is working from the same page. So let's take a look at a couple of examples next. So here we have a WIP analysis dashboard that's intended to help the CFO or controller, whoever has the responsibility for compiling and recording WIP at the end of the month, to pull it all together. Typically this is a big process that is done in Excel and requires running a lot of reports, talking to all of the PMs and pulling in a lot of information. And it's a major effort at the end of each month. Well, a dashboard along with some of Sage Intacct's automation can help make this a much smoother process. Let's take a look. So in this dashboard, we've got a number of key reports to pull some of the initial information, such as a preliminary WIP analysis that has a row for every project, gathers information from the general ledger, including cost to date, bill to date amounts, along with the project estimates themselves, and calculates an under or over billing from a purely numerical standpoint without input yet from project managers. I've also got a cost overview report that allows us to focus on job costs for any specific project that perhaps is showing some variances where we can get a breakdown by cost code and cost type, perhaps even by vendor if we wanted to include that to see the effect of the vendor commitments, for instance. And I want to be able to see what's been billed for any specific project to date so I can make sure that are we keeping up with our billing as we need to be on a regular basis, or is there some issue that needs to be addressed with the customer? Um, and then finally, a quick view of the estimate that breaks it all down by numerically and by amount. We might also include a WIP journal report that shows the previous WIP bookings and a quick access to that type of information as well. Now, armed with that information, we can now utilize Sage Intacct's automation of WIP schedules to help facilitate the rest of the process. Uh-oh, I think I've made a mistake here, so bear with me and try to get back on track here. Okay, so we'll drill in using the shortcut that we've got into the WIP schedules. And here we can see previously posted WIP schedules that were created for prior periods. And we can see that their state is posted. And we've got an unposted one for the current month in progress for which we are now closing. So we'll click on the pencil icon to take a look at that WIP schedule. And at the top here in the summary, hidden summary section, we can open that up. We can confirm this is for the period ending February 2023. We can get a quick link to previous WIP schedules should we need them. And in the body of the WIP schedule, we have a row for every active project that is populated automatically. We don't have to do anything when a project comes online, it becomes active, and the start date is in the current month, it automatically shows up. The project manager automatically shows up here, and we can quickly filter that should we want to have a meeting with a project manager, and a one-on-one sit down. The contract value, the job to date costs, the job to date billings, those are all automatically coming in because those are known costs that are coming in from the smart or intelligent general ledger. If we click on the row here, we can now see that there are fields that become accessible for input for those adjustments that have to be made on a month-to-month basis based on the judgment of the PM and the CFO. For instance, the PM might enter the uh, hmm, okay, bear with me. The PM might enter the uh, job a percentage of completion from their observations and from the information that they have. The CFO may have a different view of that, and ultimately the CFO's entries are the ones that uh, create the ultimate journal entries. And I'm going to back up here just a little bit more, just so we can kind of see some of that information as it feeds in. Now, um, as we move forward, the project manager may also be allowed to import their entries via a file, by the way, and we can select a particular project and update the CFO values with the PM values if we feel that's appropriate. If and when that happens, or if that's not appropriate, we want to undo that. We have the option of undoing that action as well from the little sub menu there. We can also um, select all when we feel like we've got the information in the WIP schedule the way that we want it to be, and then finalize the WIP schedule so that now we can see that everything has been final. I'm going to pause here for just a moment and point out that there is a comment field or comment column there that where entries can be made that carry over into the next period schedule. So if adjustments to the WIP schedule are made by the CFO, for instance, and they need to be reviewed the next period, those can be entered as comments there so that the CFO is reminded to do so. Now, note that up there at the top of the page, the post button is now enabled. What that does, then now that everything has been finalized, we can first view the posting preview and get a view of the journal entries that would be created by posting this WIP schedule. It's an automatic basis. The journal entry will be intrinsically linked to this WIP schedule. And you can see that we have a summary at the top, as well as the details that include the account and all of the required dimensions. Here we have department location and project, for instance, that would come into play. When we're ready, then we can proceed with posting the WIP schedule using the post button at the top again. And if necessary, we can override any of the information here, including, for instance, we might want to add a reference number that we want to appear on reports or give us something to search on using the Sage Intacct Construction search features. Now, in this case, we could submit this for further review and posting, or if that's not required, it could be directly posted. I'll back out here, but I want to explain that at any point, this WIP schedule can be unfinalized. And if the journal entry has been posted, unfinalizing the WIP schedule will effectively delete or undo the uh, the WIP posting without having to do any reversals or anything else. The CFO can then make any adjustments that they need to do. They can go back and refinalize and repost at any time without much hassle. So next, let's take a look at another dashboard here, which is a role-based dashboard for the AP manager. The AP manager has a lot of different responsibilities, as you might gather from this dashboard. They've got their KPIs that they're keeping an eye on, including days payable outstanding, AP turnover ratio, those kinds of things that, and the overall AP balance, of course, they don't have direct control of that, but they want to make sure that vendor relations are managed properly. And part of that then would include uh, keeping an eye on not only the trends that are appearing in accounts payable, but also the balances with any key vendors or suppliers that are critical. For instance, we can see a spark line or trend for each of the uh, top 10 vendors in this report. And we can see that several are trending up. Frameworks, for instance, one of our highest balance, we might want to click into their vendor record from the report and view where are we vis-a-vis their credit limit, for instance, to keep an eye on that as well. Now, we also have a number of um, key reports that we've added or this person has added to their dashboard, and such as the vendor aging report, which going, for a construction company is just a little bit different, as we'll see. We might want to enter an as of date with a specific date here in this when we run this report. And we'll expand this view just to get an idea of what we contain. And so we can see where these balances lie, but also the retainage balance for each of our vendors here. Moving on, we also have a number of tasks that we can manage directly from our dashboard. One of those tasks, for instance, might include the assignments that my direct supervisor or controller has assigned to me, and as part of the monthly close, or they could be unrelated to that. But the key thing here is that I can then update these tasks assignments directly from the list view here as to what their status is and where I stand on them. Also, a number of other types of daily tasks like entering bills and paying bills and monthly bank reconciliations, managing our vendor lists, but also compliance records is kind of a key thing for this particular user. They've got a list view here that includes all of the expired insurance certificates with our vendors that where they're required. So these compliance documents then are things that generally regularly have to be followed up on. We generally have to reach out to those vendors via email, and we can do that conveniently right here from the list. So we can see that a role-based dashboard like this helps organize information, key information that's required on a day-to-day basis, gives us quick access to the functions that we need to carry out, and helps keep focus for a particular role user. So that brings us to another poll question. Remember that you don't have to get the poll question right. You just have to answer it. Sage Intacct Construction's WIP management tool calculates and posts the GL adjustments required for construction project revenue recognition. True or false? I'll give you another 10 seconds or so to get that. And I'll bet you've gotten it right. Okay, next, let's take a look at the Sage Intacct Construction Reports Center. Here we can find not only financial reports, but also reports from all of the applications. There are dozens, if not hundreds, of reports that might be populated in this area. However, we can quickly filter for a particular application, should we wish to do so, here on the application list. Or we can also do a quick search using a partial name of a report that we're looking for. Here I'm looking for one called job cost details, and I found it here. And I can quickly run it. And I'm going to mark it, by the way, as a favorite, just so it shows up in my favorites list here. That way I don't have to search so hard for it the next time, although that wasn't so difficult. When I click the report, gives me some configuration options to filter the report. I can run it based on a range of bill dates, or I can run it for a particular period. I can run it for specific jobs or specific vendors as well. In this case, I'm just going to run it for all jobs, and I'm going to run it for a range of dates. Now, this is an example of a interactive custom report, the types of which Ledgerable users often create for our customers. Notice up at the top, these reports allow you to do a lot of different functions. We can store the output of the report. We can email it to an individual. We can add it to a dashboard. We can memorize the settings that we put in our configuration when we ran the report, the filters. And we can manipulate this report because it's an interactive report. We can, for instance, create a little pivot here at the top so that we have filtered for a particular vendor that we're trying to kind of drill down on to see, what's been going on. If we wanted to add other additional filters, we could do so. We could hide columns, we could add columns, and we could rearrange the columns so that the order of the output changes. So a lot of flexibility is granted with a interactive custom report. Let's take a look at another report and to see some of the actions that the report center allows us to do. For instance, our purchasing activity by vendor might be something that we want to create and distribute on a regular basis. For instance, we want to generate this for all of the operations departments. We could select a particular location or group of locations if we wish to do so. And the schedule might run for next month and then continue on after that. So we can see that we can set up a schedule. We can set up a recurrence and by days, weeks, months, years, etc., whatever we need to do there. And if we set it to every month, we can also choose to have it run as of the end of the month using the little link there at the bottom. Now, our delivery options include sending this out by email to a user or a group of users. We can also, store the document in Intacct. Oh, and by the way, we can send the output on that email in a variety of different ways. It could be a PDF, it could be an Excel file, it could be a CSV, etc. So we could store it in Intacct, and we just simply need to give that report a name so that it can be retrieved and could be set up as a PDF, or we could store it in the cloud. That would allow us to send that out to a variety of different sources that you might, containers that you might recognize, such as Dropbox, Google Drive, or etc. So in conclusion there, we've got quite a bit of functionality. I want to drill into one more area here. My link there evidently got carried away. I want to drill down on the functionality of dimensions when running any transactional report in the system. Now, of course, that includes general ledger reports, which we'll show here. Here we have a trial balance report. We can select the particular departments, locations, projects that we might wish to include here. We might even simply include projects of a particular type rather than a specific project. So we want to look at restaurants or hotels or something like that in this particular report. And then we can change the format as needed. Now, this is general ledger data that's been filtered using a, a group of projects for the restaurant group. We can drill into any of this data as needed and take a look at the dimensions that were assigned at the all the way down to the project cost code, cost type level for this project. I could also drill into the project itself and gain a great deal of information directly from the project record. Here we can see in the project summary all of our high-level materials, labor, equipment, other costs, subcontracts, etc., and a profit margin compiled for me on this record. In the estimates area, we can see a list of all of the estimates which we can drill into to review them. Our purchasing commitments area shows all of our subcontracts and purchase orders that have been let on this particular project, as well as the amounts paid, invoiced, and paid against them. Our change management area includes a record of all of the posted change orders to the contract, as well as any change requests and their statuses. The project contracts themselves are visible here, as well as the full schedule of values for those project contract lines and the amounts billed against them in project invoices. And of course, for all of these underlined, hyperlinked information, the user has the ability to drill down into those records for a deeper view. Okay, I would like to bring up Ledgerable Smart Care at this point. This is a service that Ledgerable provides to its subscribers that includes Smart Start, which is an unlimited end user support and assistance. We have includes configuration to align the software's options with your business processes, includes reconfiguration as business needs change, and of course, data migration to transfer data from your legacy accounting system to Sage, as well as data from acquired companies while a Sage Intacct Construction subscriber. Smart Assist includes all of the technical services that you need to effectively use the software, including training at any point in time, so that you fully enjoy the use of the software. And finally, Smart Reports includes design and delivery of all the reports and dashboards that you'll ever need to operate your business. Okay, that brings us to another whole question. And that is the talented construction technology professionals at Ledgerable will build you any report you need as long as you subscribe to Sage Intacct Construction. Remember, you don't have to get this right. You just have to answer. And once again, please remember to fill out the evaluation form that we'll be sending by email in the next day. All right. If you've enjoyed this presentation, please note that Brian Terrell is available to speak to your construction back office professionals, your CPA firm, your Texas CPA Society chapter or CFMA chapter, or any other professional group on the following topics, the first two of which speak directly to all construction industry professionals. First, accelerating the financial close, automating today, automation today, AI tomorrow. Changing technology, creative disruption in the accounting profession, thriving in a blockchain economy. And then finally, prosperity through recurring revenue, unleashing the power of the subscription economy. And by the way, that last one applies to those specialty subcontractors who provide service maintenance agreements to businesses or consumers after project completion. And I want to make you aware that next month's webinar hosted by BTerrell will focus on the 2025 Sage Intacct highlight picks, which are purchasing and fixed asset management. And you can click on that QR code in the left-hand window and register for that important presentation and earn another hour of CPE credit. And then Ledgerable's next month webinar will focus on ADP's 2026 HR trends and updates. You can also click on that QR code in the middle window and register for that important presentation and earn another hour of CPE credit. And in May, we will attend the CFMA 2026 annual conference and exhibition. So if you're planning to attend, please stop by booth 714 to say hello to the Ledgerable team. We'd be very happy to see you. So at this point, I want to make sure that you've had an opportunity to enter all of the questions in the Q&A area. If you have any questions, please enter them now. Declan, have we received any questions?
Yeah, it looks like we received some. I'll go ahead and start off with one of them. It says, how long does implementation and go live take? Uh, that's a good question. So this kind of depends on the complexity of the company structure, the amount of data we're moving over from your legacy system, availability of your team members, right? Because we need to train them on how to utilize Sage Intacct Construction, and also whether we'll be integrating with third parties such as Procore, Autodesk, and BuildOps. So I do want to point out, in addition to setting up Sage Intacct Construction, we'd work with your third-party teams to connect with your various software. Um, so I'd say on average, it takes around 4 months to implement and go live.
Mhm.
Chris, do you want to take the next question? Mhm.
Yeah, I see it now. If we implement Sage Intacct Construction, are we able to create these advanced reports ourselves, or do we have to use your assistance? Well, the answer is these tools are designed for end users, not uh, computer science professionals. So you can absolutely create these advanced reports yourselves. When we implement Sage Intacct Construction, we can help train any of your folks in your company on how to create the reports. And uh, as Declan mentioned, Ledgerable Smart Care, or I mentioned previously, Ledgerable Smart Care training is part of our package. And it's not just a one-time event. It can happen over and over as new team members join your organization. And so it'd be our pleasure to train you to be completely independent. However, oftentimes we find that there's a great benefit of not having to worry about creating that report, that you can simply mark it up on a napkin or send it in an Excel spreadsheet or something, some idea that you'd like to see, and we'll knock it out in a very reasonable period of time that you'll be happy with. And so that's just one less thing that you'll have to worry about. Okay. Do you want to take the next one, Declan?
Yeah, sure. Let me look through them. All right, this one's pretty interesting. Can we set up project manager specific dashboards? For example, each project manager should only be able to view their project and no one else's. The answer is yes. Project managers can have their own dashboards in Sage Intacct Construction. You can choose exactly which dashboards each project manager is allowed to see, so that when they log in, they only see the dashboards that are meant for them, and you can keep certain information private. The important part to note is that seeing a dashboard and seeing the data on it are two different things. Take, for example, if two people can access and open the same dashboard, Sage Intacct will only show each person the data they are allowed to see. So we do this by using, report filters and limiting uh, users' permissions. So in summary, yes, the dashboard can be set up so a project manager only sees numbers for the projects they manage and not anyone else's.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll throw it back to you, Chris.
Let's see. How difficult is reworking a WIP schedule, and can it really be done after month-end close? Well, I guess the answer is that reworking a WIP schedule is simple and straightforward. You just need to unfinalize and then proceed with the rework that you'd like to do, making the appropriate adjustments, and then refinalize and post. However, note that you can't post to a locked period. So if it is a previous period and it's locked, you will have to unlock the period, which is technically very simple. However, that's not so simple if financials have been released. So something you'd want to do very carefully. Okay, I don't see any other questions at this point in time, but I want to make sure that you know that if you do have any questions, that we can. Oh, wait, I
Oh,
do see a number of
um,
questions. Okay.
please, I will just jump in, and there were a couple of questions, so I hope you can help to answer it as well. And some of it I already answered privately. The first one is it easy for the Sage Intacct from Sage 100 contractor to change to Sage Intacct?
Yeah, we've made that migration a number of times, and customers have been very happy that they've made the move to the cloud, moving from a legacy application like Sage 100 or Sage 300 to Sage Intacct Construction. Um, so companies have made that transition very successfully. Um, Looks like other folks have asked about using our reporting, and that might be something that we would reach out to you and talk about how we could do that directly.
Yeah, I want to jump in. So if you are using Sage Intacct currently, right, and you're struggling with optimization or how your reports or dashboards are structured, we uh, do have so SmartCare is also a separate thing, right? We can assist with your reporting and help you create those reports. Um, what we can do is we'll reach out to you and we'll see if that's something you're interested in.
Yeah. Okay. And then the question for you is project performance dashboard, is that a custom dashboard or is that some kind of standard dashboard, I think?
Chris, would you mind answering that?
Yeah, there are um, some canned dashboards that are available that can usually be a starting point. And that's often where we would begin that process. Project performance dashboard is typically something that we would do on a case-by-case basis. Well, we have a report and dashboard library that we can bring to bear with any new implementation or customer that we bring on board so that you can take a look at what is the types of things that have been done previously and decide if you want to incorporate some of those into your environment. Okay. And if we haven't addressed your question, we will make sure that to follow up with you following our webinar today. I want to once again thank you for joining us. It was a great fun, and I want to congratulate Declan on a great job as well. So
Thanks.
thank you again, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.